We all know the routine. You want to get up and practice yoga. You want to get up and practice meditation every morning. You know intuitively in your bones that when you do that, you are going to be happier, that the day will run more smoothly, and that everything will just fall into place much more easily. And so you go to bed with the best of intentions, and you wake up and the alarm goes off and you smash the snooze button. And before you know it, you're rushing, late for work again, guzzling some Starbucks to try and get through the first half of your day. Well, in this video, I want to give you some concrete tips for how you can avoid that scenario. It's not easy, no matter what we do. Getting up earlier is not easy, but there are ways to make it much more attainable. So let's talk about that. But before we do, please consider subscribing, commenting, sharing, hitting that bell icon so that you will be alerted when I have future content. And most importantly, you will help other people find videos like this one. So the first thing you need to know about developing a strong morning practice is that your practice does not begin when you open your eyes in the morning. It begins before you close them at night. If you go to bed really late after watching really abrasive and overstimulating content on Netflix or the evening news, good luck getting up. It's not going to be easy. Find out what your appropriate bedtime is for your body. How many hours of sleep do you need? And then reverse that. Find out what time is your morning practice going to be. 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever it is for you. Reverse engineer that, right? Go back 7 hours. That's what time your lights should go out at night. The second thing is get ready the night before. Now, in my case, I like to prep my son's breakfast. I like to get my clothes out for the day. I like to make sure my son's school bag is packed. I like to make sure my home is tidied up so I'm not waking up to like piles of laundry and it's just a chaotic mess. When I wake up, I don't want distraction. I just have to roll out my yoga mat, nothing else. Because if there's anything that gets between me and my yoga mat, it will likely win. I know that about myself. So doing it the night before when I have that wherewithal is key. Now let's talk about the morning. Like what happens when you wake up? You don't magically open your eyes and teleport to your yoga mat, right? You don't have to travel very far. Sometimes you're practicing in your bedroom right next to your bed or in the living room or maybe going out onto your back deck. So you're not going very far, but the distance between your warm, cozy bed and that yoga mat can feel like miles and miles and miles. But if you can connect the dots between what is called habit stacking, write it down and follow it to the letter for the first week or two. I'm going to get up. I'm going to wash my face and brush my teeth. For me, I drink apple cider vinegar water first thing in the morning to flush my system out. I'm going to put on my yoga clothes, and then I'm going to roll out my yoga mat. I have a flow chart, and it sounds obvious and it sounds simple, but if you don't have a specific plan of action when you open your eyes, you're going to be like, oh, I'll just check my Twitter feed. I'll just look at my messages on Facebook. I'll see what's happening in the news. And of course, that leads to about an hour of you laying in bed, wasting time, getting agitated and overstimulated, instead of doing what you should be doing, which is sitting on your mat, doing the opposite of all of that. So have your plan. Stack your habits. Get up, wash face, brush teeth, drink some water or flush the system out. I'll do a video at some point on apple cider vinegar water first thing in the morning, and then roll out your mat. So that will get you between starting your practice the night before by planning everything out and then having a plan of action that happens before you roll out your mat that is simple and attainable. Don't make it complicated. Simple. Brush teeth, wash face, drink water, roll out mat. It's simple. A kindergartner could do it. Now, the final thing is adjust your expectations about your practice, right? I always tell people the hardest part of any practice is rolling out your mat. If you can just get to your mat, that is a win for the day. Now, most of the time I get to my mat, I come to child pose, and I just breathe. And usually for the first few minutes, especially if I'm feeling lethargic and not quite into waking consciousness, I'll just hang in child for 5 minutes, breathing. Sometimes that's all I do. Sometimes I do that and then come to Shavasana. My goal is not to have the best practice ever, where I do the sweatiest vinyasa practice of all time. My goal is to roll out my mat and breathe and be in my body mindfully. After that, everything else is gravy. Some mornings, that's all I do. Child, maybe a restorative pose, take a Shavasana, sit and meditate. But most mornings, I start with that. And by the time I take 10 breaths, I'm like, I can do some cat and cow. Okay, I can do a few gentle sun salutations. Okay, now I'm going to, you know what I really would feel really good is a triangle pose or some back bends today. I really need some back bends. I was sitting in front of my desk all day yesterday. All of a sudden, I'm a half hour into my practice and going, I don't want this to end. This is wonderful. But it starts by giving yourself the space and the permission to just let your practice be what it is. The final thing I would say is your body is different at different times of the day. So if you typically practice yoga in the afternoon, your body and your practice is going to look and feel a certain way, probably more energetic because you're more warmed up, you've been moving, your brain is awake. When we practice early in the morning, it can feel like I'm moving through molasses. And many people go into judgment about that. There's something wrong with me because I'm not doing handstands first thing in the morning. It's okay. Some mornings you're going to be doing handstands, but some mornings you just need that extra time to ease your body into its day. So just recognize the difference. Honor your body where it's at in any given moment. Okay, so just to recap, start your practice the night before by getting everything ready and going to bed at a reasonable hour. Have a plan of action for when you wake up. The simple, actionable points that lead you from opening your eyes to rolling out your mat. And finally, give yourself permission to have the practice you need in the morning, even if it's short, even if it's not the most physically grueling practice, that's okay. Just get to your mat. That's it. Get to your mat, get to child, breathe, meditate a little bit. And if that's all you do, it's still better than getting up and checking your Twitter feed. I hope you found that helpful. If you would like more support around this, I hope you'll check out some of my video courses. You can go to darrenmain.com and I'll link to that below so you can see some of the video courses I have that will help you take your practice to a deeper level. I'll see you in the next video.